Welcome everyone to another episode of Foraged Foods. I'm Justin Knaub, and we're here with one of my favorite things, dessert. Alrighty, for this recipe we're going to have to start off with a three-part, starting with the compote, which is going to be 3 cups of wild blueberries, but we're only going to start off with 1.5 cups. Add that into a small pot, turning it on to medium-high. Next, 1/4 cup of sugar. Squeeze this lemon around to juice it up a little bit, and we're just going to use about a quarter lemon's worth of juice. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of water, and we're going to cook this for about 7 to 10 minutes, stirring regularly. Doesn't matter if there's a little extra moisture, we're going to strain it later. Once it's all done, we're going to turn off the heat and add the remaining blueberries. And just give that a good stir. The rest of the blueberries aren't going to really cook, but they're going to soften from the heat. Once it's all done, you should end up with something looking a little bit like this. And that'll definitely thicken up as it cools, which we're going to do now. Going to get the oven on to 350, and we're going to start working on these matcha cupcakes. First, put all your dry ingredients into a sifter. This is optional, it's not necessary, but it will create a better texture in the end. Starting off with 1.5 cups all-purpose flour. So that was a 1/2 cup there, and 1 cup here. Next, to the matcha, and trust me, not all matcha is created equal. We are using a culinary grade today instead of a ceremony or traditional variety. I don't want to say it's not right to use the ceremonial, but definitely this recipe and for the flavor profile, something like the culinary is just perfect. I need to get more organized. Alright, there it is. And you can see this stuff does get messy. I got little green fingers here, but there's the other 1/2 teaspoon of the matcha powder, so 2.5 teaspoons of the matcha powder, just a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, also a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 cup sugar. Added individually in 1/3 increments, because I don't have a 2/3 cup. We're just going to sift that all now. And it didn't quite mix it up well enough, so we're just going to incorporate it a little bit more with a fork here until it's an even color throughout it. Almost. Almost. Oh yeah. Perfection. Alrighty. So that compote was sitting on the stove cooling. I'm going to put it into this metal bowl and throw that into the fridge for it to continue cooling while the matcha cupcakes are getting done prepared and baked. So now we're going to add our liquids to our batter. So we're going to start off with 2 eggs. Try your best not to get any shell in. Always the challenge. And then 2/3 cups of vegetable oil. That wasn't a whole 2/3 cup, but you can go a little light on that. And we're mixing. Start off low always and get it up to medium, and you'll see it ends up looking a little bit, here it is, battery. I do have to scrape the sides a little bit. Don't be afraid to stop it and scrape the sides. But you do want it looking like a nice even battery texture before we finish off with our last liquid. Yep, that's what we're looking for, a melty Play-Doh. Lastly, we're adding the plain Greek yogurt, just a 1/2 cup's worth. You can use sour cream as well. We always substitute plain Greek yogurt, in this household at least, for anything that is calling for it. So, sour cream, Greek yogurt, interchangeable for us. Always Greek yogurt for us though. We're going to mix that in. Going to have to scrape the sides here, but you're going to want to make sure that is evenly incorporated as well. Next, we're going to move to getting these bad boys into the pan. So I lined them with little cup liners. You can just grease them, pan them, however you want. I like using these little liners personally. And just put them about half full each way across. Doesn't have to be perfect for this. I'm definitely not perfect with placing the batter. But we're going to put that in the oven now for about 14 minutes. At 350, of course, already preheated. And now strain that compote. Pull it out of the fridge, get all that extra moisture out of it. Let's move to the frosting. Start off with 1 cup confectioner's sugar. And of course I'm going to sift this as well. 1 tablespoon of flour, sifted. Now we're going to add 8 ounces of cream cheese. We're going to use 1 full stick or a half cup of butter, pre-softened. And mix that on a medium-low. It's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes, and I had to pulse mine on the high every once in a while just to get everything off of it, and then put it back to low. But you'll see a nice even texture that it's going to carry whenever it is ready. Now, Candied Cordyceps, this is a garnish. It's not necessary, but this is a fantastic addition. They're going to have a very strong lemon flavor to them, a nice sour bite. And I do that by adding the lemon juice and just a little bit of sugar, and then melting the sugar on them and turning them, cooling them off. Let's get these muffins, because they're muffins now. We didn't add the frosting yet. Out of the oven and let them cool. Looking good. Compote all strained. This part can be a little bit of a challenge. You don't want to cut too far in, but you do want to get a nice hole in there. So make sure you do with them. Yep, get them all looking like that. And we're going to add that compote. But you want to make sure you leave a 1/4 cup of that compote to the side, because that's going to go into your frosting for a nice purdy color and a little extra texture. Here it is now, that 1/4 cup of compote going into the frosting. And we're just going to fold this, not mix it. That's going to really help to keep the more dense texture of the frosting without it getting too watery from the compote. Just fold it in a few times. And all we have left to do is get the frosting on these cupcakes. So let's get to it. And here we are. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time on Foraged to Foods.